the Hoops Junction's Sunday Funday mix, episode number 3. We're gonna break down a couple things going on during the NBA during the week, just to get you ready for the next week, and just some things that we didn't get to touch on during the week as well. One of the key things I wanted to talk about right away, Stephen Curry's hand injury. They say he's gonna be out at least 3 months. People are saying that this is a blessing in disguise because A, it allows the younger players to mature in their role, get better, and learn how to play in the crunch. And B, it allows the Warriors to tank and get a high draft pick next season. So if they tank this season, we don't know how the tanking works. Your little ping pong balls drop in there, and you might get a lottery pick, so to speak. So they could flip that lottery pick and try to trade for a wing or draft a wing, which they need desperately, especially with the absence of, with Andre Iguodala leaving and with Kevin Durant leaving. They need a wing really badly. But I couldn't say that this is necessarily a blessing in disguise because now they're even more disjointed. Everybody was counting on Klay to come back in March. So now if Steph doesn't come back for another 3 months, and then let's just say Klay doesn't come back, and then now I'm hearing Draymond Green had a finger injury. It's just like, this is like their throwaway season. And the reason why it's not a blessing is because they just moved into that big fat arena, and they made some guarantees, paid out of pocket, and now they got to pay some people. Now, somebody might say, well, hey, that's their problem. They chose to move. They chose all this other stuff. But it also affects the players because, now they're walking into territory where, they're not starting with a good fan base as it is in San Francisco. Because a lot of those Oakland fans, they're not going to drive all the way to San Francisco. They're not going to make that. That's more of the Silicon Valley. They're going to be like, they raise tickets prices, so they alienate a lot of fans. So these fair weather fans that are in San Francisco, they're definitely not coming to the games now, especially if they find out that you're tanking. So that's revenue being lost, and that's going to be something that's going to, go down the line in another CBA, so to speak. So, for Steph, it's very funny to say this, but he has been somewhat reliable in the injury department as of late. In the last 5-6 years, he hasn't missed way too many games as opposed to some other guys. So a lot of guys sat out in other places and other teams. If you compare him to guys on other teams, he's played a good amount of games. So, it just sucks for the Warriors to lose that player in the league because now you don't get that excitement of the 3-ball. But I tell you who's it good for. It's good for the Los Angeles Lakers in terms of that's another guy they don't have to compete and get away and get a title. And that's what I'm kind of seeing. I'm seeing a head-on collision in the West, and it's basically between the Clippers and the Lakers because everybody else is making themselves basically get out the way. Denver Nuggets proven they still ain't ready. You look at the Houston Rockets, their defense is atrocious. Some of their key guys are injured, coming off the bench and stuff like that. We're talking about Gerald Green. Warriors was supposed to be a team that's like a sleeper team. They're not going to be a sleeper team anymore. So it's just like the Clippers and the Lakers are slowly ascending themselves. Dallas, Lakers took care of them recently. So that being said, this is like when they say like the race to win a title this year is as open as it's ever been. This is the most open it's ever going to be. Anybody that complains about not winning a title, there's no super teams. Everybody has a 1-2 punch. Teams are balanced. The team that was the super team is not even like able to even compete. Guys that won the ring, they're all out. Look, the most recent guy, besides Kawhi Leonard this year, but the last 3-4 years, there's no Steph Curry. There's no Klay Thompson. There's no Kevin Durant in the league right now. This is as wide as it's been for any team to win a championship. No more making excuses. You got to win the title or, put up or shut up is the phrase. Put up or shut up. And that's point blank period what it is. Like you look at all these teams in the landscape, if they're not trying to have a good record now, and you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about the Portland Trail Blazers. That's one team. And I know they got Nurkic out and Pau Gasol. They picked up Pau Gasol. But they're 3-3. They could do better than 3-3. So if you're not really trying to get a championship or bust mentality as one of the deepest teams in the league, nobody wants to hear that. Look at Philly; they're like 5 or 6-0. They're really trying to secure that home court advantage and really try to win themselves the title. So this is as open as gonna be. And then next year, the next couple of years, when a team figures out how to assemble a superstar team together or work a formula that's gonna win multiple titles, then that's what we'll see. But other than that, I mean, there's no complaining about anything this year at all. All the guys that were dangerous to win titles, they most of them are out of the way. Besides Kawhi Leonard, they're all out of the way. So we're gonna see how this plays itself out. Now, when you're looking at the East is kind of interesting because you got the Celtics, you got the Bucks, and you got Brooklyn. And the reason why I say Brooklyn, they are a solid team. It just, you look at Kyrie and the heavy lifting he's doing this early in the season. Is it sustainable? And one of the key things that, because Kevin Durant has been doing like a lot of interviews here and there. One of the key things that really is funny, when KD, they ask him questions about who he likes to play with, who he likes to do this with, who he's interested in, and, who's one of his best teammates ever. He never brings up Russ. He never brings up Steph. He's bringing up, they ask him who he like to watch. Who's like in the game that he respects. He's like Kyrie, Dame, Embiid, stuff like that. Or they ask him who's one of your best teammates. Kyrie, Serge, all this other stuff. It's very weird. It's like, when they say that nothing ever happened between them or he felt like an outsider, there had to be one incident between Steph and KD and Russ and KD. Because if you look at Steph and Russ, they basically come from a similar background. 2-parent household. They straight up kind of guys. They mean what they say what they mean. KD is come from a different background. So when he doesn't ever mention Russ, he doesn't necessarily ever mention Steph as one of the guys. He actually had success with Steph. Like that pairing, that duo, is one of the best duos and pairings of all time. Point blank period. They both can shoot. They both, you have to guard them from out the gym. They both can play make. Of course, Steph's not necessarily a great defender, but great passer. KD was getting better into his bag of passing, but I feel like there's some kind of unjust or unresolved resentment between KD and Russ and KD and Steph because he never mentions those guys as great teammates, guys that he watched, nothing like that. It's so odd, especially when KD made his decision. Steph flew to New York, and he said, I understand your decision. This is one you have to make for yourself, and I respect that, and it's cool. It's all good. Like, he just wanted to come out and just pay his respects. Like, hey, dog, we had a great run. I loved everything about it. It's almost like KD wants to erase that chapter in his life. Now, what does that have to do with the Nets and Kyrie? Well, this is one of the key things I want people to remember. Kyrie is a guy, he likes to do things his way. KD's a guy, he likes to do things his way. If they don't agree on the same way and don't sacrifice, KD might really regret going to the Brooklyn Nets. He didn't leave a bad situation in Golden State. So if he goes to the Nets, mind you, physically he's a little compromised. Well, he's very compromised. But rehab, next year play. If they don't win it, the expectation is in Brooklyn when KD comes back is title or bust. If they don't win a title, nobody's going to want to hear about how good they look together. What they're going to do is they're going to be bringing up the fact that you were playing with Steph and you were winning and you chose to lead that situation. That's all people are going to mention. So, to me, I guess what I would say, this is a cautionary tale to Kevin Durant. All this resentment or not resentment, let's just say unwillingness to really admire or admit like, hey, these guys did something for me. Even though like I felt like I had to leave, I felt like that was my growing up period. Like how LeBron went to Miami, LeBron came out a different player than when before he was in Miami. Just like KD, he came out a way different player. He came out like even 10 times better than what he was, because they expected him to do a lot more, sacrifice a lot more. I feel like KD's reluctance to necessarily admire the fact that he was part of one of the greatest basketball teams of all time is going to rear its ugly head when in Brooklyn, because if they don't win, like I said, it's going to be tough. And you're looking at two guys, they both want the ball, and Kyrie, who gets injured. So this could possibly be a regrettable thing, but hey, you never know with KD. He might be setting himself up for life after Brooklyn anyway. He might want to stay there for a couple years and go somewhere else. So that's kind of the thing. Because I don't think people try to paint KD like he's angry, Kyrie like they're angry. They're not angry. They just are two guys that recognize that we have the power. We want to do what we want to do. But when you bet on yourself and it doesn't work out, that's when the critics come and slam you. And both guys don't handle critics well, or criticism well from the media. You know, I think they handle critics well. I think the social media stuff, how they get on people and stuff. But when the reporters are coming at them with like facts, and you know, KD and Stephen A sat down, and Stephen A was like, you know, the problem I have with KD is a lot of times he tells me things, then he acts like he never told me it. And that's the thing. It's just like, these people are coming to you with facts. They're not like trolling you on the internet. These people got straight facts, and you denying stuff, or you this, that, and the third. You know, just like, you know, what pissed me off when Ramona Shelburne, Jackie McMullen, she had a report that the Nets commented on Kyrie's mental health, and then, you know, I didn't have no problem with the report because it came from a reliable source. Like Jackie McMullen is not going to, you know, like the courtroom says, perjure herself and say somebody said this to me and when it never happened. The thing is just like, people in the organization are leaking stuff about how you feel, mental health, this, that, and the third. And the way that these guys are approaching the situation, they're like acting like nothing happened when something obviously happened for somebody to say something. So you can't do that in New York. New York is one of the worst media markets in the world in terms of players. Like, you could be women, and they'll bring up the fact that you still didn't do X, Y, Z. You can have like a great record. They'll still bring this, that, and the third up. There's not going to be any remorse for Brooklyn. So what people are expecting is, even though he's coming back from Achilles injury, they're expecting Golden State KD to be the same KD that was in Golden State when he returns from his health to be in Brooklyn. And I think KD needs to understand that New York, they don't manage expectations. So if you don't go there in the next 3 to 4 years and win a title, nobody's going to want to hear anything in New York. And that's just the bottom line. And it might be one of those situations where you're like, damn, I should have stayed where I was at. But maybe he proves everybody wrong. Because one of the things I admire about KD is he likes to prove people wrong, just like LeBron James. Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.